assimilate everything that people have been talking about, including what Leena said, what you are saying. I think this few marks that are missing, like not being 10, is some kind of a worry about the future, uncertainty in life, or we are a little bit scared of what is going to happen in the future. So at the moment, we are not living in the moment. In the moment, perhaps that could be one of the reasons that most of us have the problems of giving full marks for happiness.
You're right. You're right.
What do you think, Tina?
I would agree with you.
I agree with
I would agree.
I'm thinking of 10 million things. And then, you pull yourself back and I say, okay, you're getting a massage. You should be focused on relaxing, close your eyes, say Gayatri Mantra, whatever makes you. And then, for like 2-3 minutes, maybe I might have done that or less than that, and back to that again. So, and then again, like a lot of self-reflection that, like live for the moment, enjoy or whatever the feeling is, but live for the moment and then move on. But don't keep looking back, don't keep looking. So it's wonderful to read those sayings and, like I was telling you, looking at Facebook and, all of these things, but to really remember and living those things every day, it's an effort that you have to do.
Yes.
And really have to-
Anjali.
And I've seen activity and happiness are directly proportional. If I'm not active, I'm very unhappy with life. This morning I baked cakes, I'm happy. But if I exercise,
You were waiting for us, so that's
We want you to be happy more often
Yes.
and for longer.
That's an
periods of
easy
time.
way to be happy.
Yes.
when I exercise, that's really, at that time I really have to push myself. But that really permeates me and I've seen people around me.
That when you do exercise,
When
you
I
are
do
happy.
exercise and I take Cookie out for a walk, Cookie is happy, I'm happy, the Ate is happy. She's not having had to go.
I'm also happy when I get back to my office. I don't have to listen to anything,
But I think the thing with happiness is that it really feeds on each other. Is that if you're around happy people or people that have more positive outlook on life, more positive outlook on self, then it kind of rubs off on you as well. Whereas if you're around people that are complaining and fussing and
So it's that positivity
Yeah.
and happiness.
right.
Contagious,
That's
totally
what it is.
contagious.
This is also, of course, it's right. The other is I just remember at one Merchant of Venice, Salanio and Salarino, two guys having a chat, and the chat is about why are you sad? That was the chat. And after a full 3 pages of conversation, they agreed, I am sad because I ain't happy. Very interesting. So now here, it isn't only that others around you have to be happy and communicate or somehow transmit something positive. You must also be willing and able to absorb that,
Right.
to receive that. So you will be happy if you are not sad. There we are.
And if you're up and running, doing anything,
Yeah.
it automatically increases your absorption power.
Indicators of happiness and quality of life. Because I think what we measure in ADB or any development institution is we measure poverty alleviation. Basically, our role is poverty alleviation, right? For poverty alleviation, we measure it by, say, number of kilometers of roads built, or say number of ACs in a house, or consumption of electricity in a house and things like that, or say number of iPhones that people have bought in a country. For me, those are not indicators of happiness. Those are not indicators of growth even. So probably for us, we need to define some of those indicators, and those indicators, once defined, should be monitored. So, what do you think in life should be indicators of, say, either a good quality of life or for happiness?
One of them is
I think
health.
contentment is very important.
Contentment.
If you look at Bhutan, for example, or if you look at Philippines,
Yeah.
Philippines is definitely a developing country. And if you go around Philippines, you find so much of poverty, but you find people generally very happy over here.
Happy to
So
work.
again, and they're very content, you know. So I think contentment is a very important factor for happiness.
Hmm.
And I think as Sid was also saying, it's again a state of mind. You know.
Hmm.
The happiness is a state of mind. You could be, you know, in the most adverse circumstances, but then if your state of mind is such that you're okay, you're fine. There's no problem at all.
And it's like what you said about positivity. Like if you look at when you fell, yes, the pain, the inconvenience, and all of that. But then you looked at it a different way. That perspective that okay, it was my right hand, not my left. It could have been worse.
It happened on the
It's
last
something
day.
that's not permanent. It happened on the last day. So
Also,
it's just your
this-
perspective. Always that glass full or glass empty kind of thing. It really does matter.
Yeah, but then I had to force myself
Mhm.
to think in that way. It didn't come automatically. I mean, I looked at it that, okay, it could have been worse, but then thank God it didn't happen. And it also made me understand some of the things that we take for granted. Some of the things that we take for granted, like both hands working or a healthy body that we take for granted. So when you do not have that, the problems that you face makes you realize and be thankful to God for all these, the things that we generally ignore. So I think health, the access to good health is one of the indicators for happiness. I mean, I didn't have to bother that how will I go to the doctor, how will I get treatment. I knew that wherever I am, I can get access to doctor, I can immediately get access to treatment. That gives you a lot of satisfaction and mentally you are free about those peace for these small mercies of life. So I think the health or access to health is one of the indicators which should be used for happiness.
Has come to a stage, that everyone is speaking about achieving something, and achievement means, can I complete some assignment? Can I complete this golf game? Can I also watch a movie? And can I have also some very nice food? Can I do this, that, and have 30 things in a day, achieve 30 things in a day. Now, hey, slow down. Instead of 30 things, if you want to achieve only 3 things, believe me, it's a state of mind. But it will be easier to be happier. That's all.
So we finally come down to it's a state of mind.
Yeah. It's a state.
And also the contentment. Be
The
content
contentment,
with
yeah.
things.
But tell me one thing. Today we are sitting over here, and each of us, we have our good earnings. We have done well in life. So this is what we are thinking. But as a institution, or as anyone, say as Government of India, if we have to measure how do we improve the lives of so many millions who just do not have anything, will they be happy with what they earn? Do you think that we can make them, their state of mind in a way that we say, okay, no, it's all state of mind, and you be happy to say a slum dweller? Can we do that? So if we are able to do that, that's one thing. If we are unable to do that, then what are the things that we can do to make them happy?
I think part of this is there's 2 things we're talking about. One is basic level of subsistence. A person who doesn't have enough food to eat, it's difficult for that person
To
to
be happy.
or be satisfied with themselves. But if we put that aside, even if you go to the slums, people have they have enough to eat, but they're in the slums. But beyond that, I think just being there for them, speaking a kind word, to them or to each other. I mean, I was going to use that as our example, but since you're talking about
Country.
the infrastructure in the country and the people that have less, but it applies pretty across the board to everybody. The reason people are happy in Bhutan or in Philippines is nothing other than them having kind words for each other. You know, having a kind feeling for each other. I think that's goes, you know, beyond, you know, takes it to the next level. So I mean, I think in terms of, you know, the rural areas and less developed areas, of course we have to provide infrastructure, we have to provide food and education and all that for them to get up to a certain level. But once those basic things are available to them, you know, if an NGO person goes and spends an afternoon with them and talks about their experience or learns about what interests they have, I think that leaves an everlasting impression on them. And the reason I'm saying this because I never used to think about this before, but as a principal, as a personal self, sharing something personal now. Ever since I was little, I remember that when an adult, you know, paid 2 seconds of attention to me alone, that would stay with me all the time. That would go touch the elder's feet and do all that. But if somebody said, "Beta, idhar aake baitho, kya kar rahe ho, kya khel rahe the?" I would remember that. And I try to do the same thing with everybody that I meet, regardless of who it is. I try to provide some personal attention, some personal connection, try to say and do something that lets them put their guard down, because I always keep my guard down, as a matter of principle, as you all know. I mean, from the first time I met all of you, you know, there's never been at least I don't think, there's been a pretense, you know. So you just let yourself open, and then that allows the other person to also open up. Because, you know, now I hear, you know, my little nephews and nieces, they talk about, "Remember, Chacha, when we were 4 years old, you did this?" I have no idea. I don't remember any of this stuff. But they'll remember some experiences. That's because at that time, I took the time to be with them, you know, pay attention to them, do something with them, for them, and they appreciated that. So I think that brought some level of happiness to them, and that has now hopefully been contributed to them becoming the person that they are. So I think that's how, you know, we can also contribute both to bring happiness to ourselves and to bring happiness